I hope people have been out here if you're local, but if you haven't, I definitely recommend coming out here, especially in times like these. I'm in an empty parking lot right now, which most likely means there's no one enjoying the kettle hole. So I encourage you and your families to get out and go on a nice walk and see what this spring weather has to offer. But I want to give credit where credit is due. This property is managed by the Nature Conservancy and the Department of Natural Resources. Together, they manage the property to make sure that it stays in its restored prairie quality. So they've taken the time and effort to collect seed from local prairies such as Kaler Prairie, and ordering in local seed and then replanting it so that you see these beautiful blue stems. I see common milkweed. There's also blazing star. I think there's swamp milkweed out here. And so I want to give credit where credit is due. They've done a phenomenal job in restoring this and managing it. They also run prescribed fire through here at certain times of the year, whether that's the fall or spring, depending on their prescription. They are actively doing that. So when you come out here, you're going to see mowed paths. Those are most likely their burn lines to make sure their fire stays contained. And on our hike today and on our walk, I want you guys to just enjoy the landscape I'm showing you. And I'm hopefully going to be able to show you some pasque flowers today. One hillside has a few of them, and they're the earliest blooming. I'm not sure if they're blooming yet here. We're going to see what glacier erratics are. And we're also going to see the kettle hole, and we're going to talk a little bit about how it was created. So right now, this is the parking lot, just so you guys are kind of familiar with it. This is 220th Street right here. And here's the sign, so you guys know what to look for when you come out here. And then we walk through here. It's just a little gateway right here. And I want to encourage you guys to sign in so the property managers know approximately how many visitors they're getting per year, and who's visiting and from where. It's always good statistics to have, but make sure when you use this, you put it back in securely, you shut the mailbox. So always good to sign in when you're on your public lands if you have the opportunity. All right, guys, so we are starting to approach the Freda Haffner Kettlehole at the moment. This is probably one of my more favorite times in the field trip when we bring our 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th graders, because we've been walking through this beautiful grassland that you see here. Beautiful grassland, and they're kind of confused at what we're going to because you can't really see evidence of the kettle hole right away. They're very, very curious. So as we approach the kettle hole, they kind of start to see that the ground is sloping on the hills, the topography is starting to change, but they're not quite sure what is about to happen. And so once we get out here, they are always usually very impressed with the sights that you can see. So we're almost there, guys. All right. Oh. All right. Here. This is the Freda Haffner Kettlehole right here. And so usually when we get here, most of my students are oohing and eyeing about the beauty that we have. Usually we come out in September or October, so it's a lot greener that time of year. They're usually excited to see the muskrat dens. Today I think there's some ducks down there. I didn't bring my binoculars with, so they just look like little specks, but there are some ducks down there. Birds flying. Oh, look at them go. I just scared them away maybe. So this is the Freda Haffner Kettlehole. So there's no water inlet or outlet, and so the water level fluctuates with natural rain events or precipitation. So right now all the snow is melted, it's really full. On a drought year it may be empty, but we've had a lot of water in the last few years. So ever since I've been here, it's always hosted water and held water, and therefore a lot of muskrat dens have been able to move in. So there's 3 or 4 of them, and so that's really a cool thing to see. And a really awesome thing that's happened since the Kettlehole is here, we have 3 unique ecosystems. We have a wetland ecosystem towards the bottom, and then we have a drier prairie towards the top, and then we kind of have a wet wet prairie, wetland prairie closer to the base of the hills and near the Kettlehole. As you can see, there is a trail right there, vaguely, or you can faintly kind of see, like right there is a trail. And so we are going to go on a walk around the trail. As we approach over here, we're going to start to see the very sinuous Little Sioux River. This is usually a stop we make on our Glacial Landmark tour with the kiddos, and we're going to get another view of the Kettlehole right here. So it's really beautiful, and usually we stop for a moment of quietness in nature, and that's usually 30 seconds to a minute. So I think right now that's what we're gonna do as a crew. We're gonna do 20 seconds of quietness. Soak in everything we have and how beautiful our world is. So I'm going to continue to walk down the trail. Our next stop will probably be to look at some glacier erratics. Unfortunately, I looked on the hillside where the pasque flowers usually are, and they aren't blooming here yet. I thought maybe some of our southern Iowa folks have snapped some photos of them, but they're not blooming yet here. And we're getting to the point where I want to talk about glacier erratics. So I'm going to do a multiple choice. Do you think A, a glacier erratic are these cute little twigs we see here? Do you think B, a glacier erratic is this big mound you see here with the trail going up it? Or do you think C, is the glacier erratic these large stones you see here? I'll give you each a moment to think about it. Say your answers out loud to your family and friends. Well, if you guessed C, these large stones right here, you would be correct. So a lot of times people think that when the glaciers came through, it was just a big block of ice and some water, but that water contained a lot of power, and in that power it was able to carry not only soil and small rocks, it was also able to bring in these large boulders that you see here from the north. And so they look a little out of place in this grasscape, but if you were to walk the trail, I encourage you to come out and walk the trail, you're going to see other fairly large stones along the trail as well, so be careful, don't trip. But these large stones right here are in fact glacier erratics, and they've been here many, many years. So walk up the hill together. It's a nice incline. But we're going to come back to where we started once we get to the top. As you can see here, do you guys see some glacier erratics as we climb this hill? There's one, there's one, there's one. There's one. So the students sometimes want to roll down this hill, and I always say no because I'm afraid they're going to hit their heads on one of these rocks. That would not feel very good. All right, so this concludes our hike around the Freda Haffner Kettlehole. So we went all the way around. We saw the Little Sioux River in the distance. We were all the way over there looking at the Little Sioux River. I walked all the way around it, and then if you guys look closely, you can see the glacier erratics we were standing at. Thank you for joining me on this tour. I really enjoyed taking you on it. It's one of my favorite things to do, is to be out, and I hope you guys are getting out, no matter what that means to, whether it's your backyards or at your local parks. Just get out, breathe the fresh air, and I promise you'll feel better. Have a great day.